Hey, this is going to be really cool. I've got my friend and great leader, Paul Finck, coming on, and you guys are in for a real treat. When you talk about wanting to change your life, when you talk about moving forward in your careers, you want to have a great business coach, a great influencer, a great someone you can have who will take you places. And that's what Paul Finck can do. So today, I want you to understand that we are going to absolutely rock your world, give you some opportunities, but lots of knowledge. And well, I'll let him tell you myself. Here's my great friend, Paul Finck. You there, Paul?
I certainly am. How are you, Steve? Great to be
Well,
here with you.
thanks a lot. Thanks for coming on. This has been great. And Paul and I have done a couple things in the past together. And
Yeah.
here's what I want you to understand. This is a guy who can absolutely offer you changes that will make your dreams come true. Is that what you guys want? Your dreams to come true? So, Paul, tell us a little bit about you.
Uh, how are you? I'm Paul Finck, the Maverick Millionaire. That's what people call me, and they call me that for a couple different reasons. One is the millionaire part isn't obvious. I've got 6 children, 3 sets of twins. My wife and I have been started dating over 35 years ago, and we've created an abundant lifestyle. We travel all around the world. We can pretty much do anything that we want at any given time. And I've been an entrepreneur for 35 years, building up my expertise, my knowledge, and my businesses, multiple different businesses now, to create this abundance. And so the millionaire part is obvious. The maverick part is the thing that I teach and train people on every day, that, well, you've got to do things different than the average folk.
Wait,
And,
wait. What do you mean? What do you mean? Average isn't good enough? Because that's what some people aspire to, isn't it?
Here's the challenge. Average in our world these days means that, well, you're probably divorced, struggling with your relationship at best. You're probably on drugs, medicine from a doctor, or on illegal, or what used to be illegal drugs. I don't know whether they're legal or not anymore, or alcoholism. This is the average.
The
And
legal one should be illegal, by the way.
yeah, something like that. And you're struggling financially. You're living from paycheck to paycheck. You're making somewhere around $43,000 to $53,000 a year and barely making ends meet. That's the average in the United States. And when you put all that together and people go, that's kind of their ceiling, that's their goal, you begin to realize where the challenge is.
Well, isn't it? But isn't it that so many people? I mean, I heard I had a couple things I wanted to jump in with, but I'm going to go back to the flea. It's a flea analogy. This guy who trained fleas for the circus, and he would open up the jars, and the fleas would everybody watch him, but the fleas could jump out. They had fleas can go, but they never jumped. Right? They're always inside the jars. Have you heard that story? I'm sure you have. And what it was he left the jars on while the fleas are being trained, and they got trained to bonk and bonk and bonk, and then they just said, well, that's the highest I can jump.
Yeah.
So they quit jumping any hard. So he took the lids off. And isn't that where most Americans are? I've been struggling so long. I'm just tired of the struggle. I'm fine where I'm at.
I talk about your thermostat, and I was the same way. I became an entrepreneur right away, and you're like, yeah, you're one of the few, right? You're the blessed ones, and so I was doing it. And I created a certain amount of magnitude of success, but then I stayed there year after year after year after year. Now, I created what I thought was my dream. I created $100,000 a year, and that was like, wow, man, I did it every single year. And if you can look at your income level right now and look back over the last 5, maybe 10 years and see a consistent, persistent level, you've set your thermostat at that level. What that means is you've decided that's who you are. I decided I was a $100,000 income earner.
Yep.
As soon as I started making 120,000 or so, oh man, this is awesome. And I'd sit back in my laurels, go and party and relax a little. I would take my foot off the gas. As soon as I made about $80,000 or I was at that level, I'd pick up the pace. Oh my gosh, better get busy. I'm $100,000 income earner. And that's where most of us stay. We find a level that's comfortable, and then we stay there for the rest of our life. I was lucky to have a catalyst. I was lucky to have something that drove me, that went, you got to wake up, Paul. You got to wake up out of this blindness.
Wait, lucky to have that catalyst. I need to hear what that is.
Well, I had 6 kids, so you can do that, or you could create it, and I help people create it internally for those of you that may not want or already past the time where you would have 6 children. There's other ways, only I had 6 children. I had 3 sets of twins. I went from a family of 4, my wife and I and 2 children, to a family of 8 in 14 months, which changed my financial makeup completely.
Wait, 14 months? You can't have 6 children in 14 months.
Right. I had 2 and I had 4 more. They were 14 months apart, the last 2 sets of twins. So we went from being great, enough to go on vacation once a year, go out to dinner once a month, to, oh my gosh, how do we pay our bills? And I had to really figure out, all right, get real with who I was, and then get real with what structures and systems there were that were working, what business models really made sense, and how could I really monetize my skill sets to its ultimate capacity. And I got to tell you, I'm still on that journey. However, we've created multiple $million businesses now, and been able to create a continuous, persistent growth that for us is great. Now, every so often I look at that, go, wait, even that consistent, persistent growth created some level of a thermostat. Oh, that's a growth rate I'm comfortable with. So I've even got to reflect on that, going, ooh, did I just go into a different litmus, a different thermostat setting that just seems to serve us now?
Well, so let me ask you a question. For now, see, someone like myself, people always, because whether I've been in sales or not in sales, people always go, well, what motivates you, Steve? I say, I do. And they always go, no, there's something else that motivates you. I went, no, there's not. It's me. And it's, I have to have this level of success, or I have to have this, or I have to get that. And it's inside of me, because they can say, when I was selling cars, they said, hey, here's what you can have if you sell this many cars. And I didn't care. They said, here's how much money, here's a trophy, here's this. I went, I don't care. I don't need any of that, because mine is an internal success-driven thermostat. But what do you do for the people who say the same thing? Because a lot of people will say, I don't have anything like that.
There's always something, and there really is. And what I do with my clients is more conversation to really, and it's usually through a series of questions. And I would love to do that for all of you. If you would love to talk to me real, that's one of the things I'd love to offer and open up for all of you. And we'll give you a link before we end so that we can connect effectively.
Yeah, stay to the end, because we got a couple of things for you. That's great. It's a good point.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things, the way I work, I've learned to be able to manage my time, manage my effectiveness, so I still can spend some time one-on-one with you in really helping you. And that's one of my passions, if you will. I started off in college as a psychology major. I wanted to be a clinical psychologist, and I've kind of come full circle in helping people, but I add to it a lifetime of being an entrepreneur, trained in multitude different ways. And I've been in a dozen different industries in building up business, as well as been a speaker and trainer now, which is a topic for all of you, for the last 15 years. And in that, I really learned the models that work on how you can, for instance, build your platform, build an event to make it a multi-million-dollar event in just one weekend, how you can build a ongoing continuity program that really feeds you and delivers income. And what's the methodology? This isn't by happenstance. There are specific tools, strategies, systems that you can implement that I can teach you that will help you really expand all
Yeah,
this.
but does it matter which industry I'm in? Like, will it work for this one, but it won't work for that one?
It works in everything. And I challenge people. I'm a real advocate for living your passion. And so in our interview, I talk about, well, what do you like to do? What are your skill sets? What is it that really turns you on, if you will? I have never failed in asking people, what's your passion? And I guarantee you there's $1 million business within that industry. Guaranteed, that you can create, that you can build on, or that you can train and speak on. Guaranteed. And I've done it over and over and over again. We train speakers and trainers on a regular basis, building up coaching programs or training programs and different things that really deliver for them in the tune of multi 6-figure and even 7-figure incomes. And in every industry, it's possible. Here's a tip for you. Figure out a passion that you have and think, can you think of anybody in that industry that's a multi-millionaire? Of course you can. And if you can do it, or if they can do it, so can you. And that's really key to know and to really understand in your heart.
I think that's a really good point. I mean, I watch all these, and Paul knows I look and snoop because I want to know how other people market. I love to learn how other people push their agendas out, how they get their clients, what they do, what they promise them, whether they can fill or not. And that's one of the things. I mean, as a speaking coach myself, that's one of the things that we talk about is you get people on who say, I can teach you how to be $1 million speaker in a 4-day event. And you're like, no, you can't. You can't do it in a 4-day event, right? Now, if I come in with all this knowledge and experience and you teach me these things, then I can learn the skills, some of the skills I need to learn in that 4-day event. But so many times people think I'm going to come into something and I'm going to leave, wealthy, right, Paul?
No. Yeah. One, it takes some work and some effort. Two, it's one of the biggest challenges is that in a couple layers. One is as I speak, you're only listening to a certain fraction of what I'm saying. And so you're going to take away about 10% of what I actually say. So if you go to a 3-day boot camp, there's only a fraction of one day that you're actually going to be able to hold on to and grab and reflect on later. And then you're only going to apply a fraction of that.
So I'm gonna interrupt too, because I'm gonna ask, most of you have probably already gone to something. You've attended some event. You took all kinds of notes. After you left the event, how long before you don't even know where those notes are? Right, Paul? That's what you're talking about, teaching us more.
So one of the things that I do have, I've got boot camps, I've got 3-day events. Fortunately, the way I structure it is I don't divert you to 100 different things. We really get focused in on creating clarity with who you are, what you're doing, and direction for you when you leave. However, then it takes you applying the information. And so a lot of times it's much better. I'll lock arms with people and bring them the distance, because who you are today and the questions that you have today are not the questions you're going to have next week or next month or 3 to 5 months from now.
Isn't that the truth?
And as you grow, you'll have new questions. And as you develop those new questions, having someone to go and pass those by and get the answers is really key. So this ongoing process is much more effective than an event.
And events have their spot if you're looking to gain a nugget of knowledge or a tidbit of knowledge, or you say, I'm just missing a point, and you go to this, maybe you'll find that point. But the whole point of the events is to help you grow and expand and get the opportunity to follow through.
You also need that and just immense amount of download of information to then be able to understand, for instance, different business models. Even in events, for instance, I ran a speaker, founded and co-founded and ran a speaker support business. And we ran the events for some of the top level speakers, especially in the real estate world, which is some of my background. And so all the real estate gurus out there, they all know me, and I've run, a dozen of the rooms out there and done over 250 boot camps. So when I talk about what works. It's not from reading a book. It's not from, oh, I did it once and I think this is going to work for you. It's testing it out in over 250 boot camps with multiple different products, multiple different speakers on stage, and understanding what really is effective to drive the bottom line, which is what I focus in on. And it's why we're in business. You want a hobby? Great. Go have a hobby as a speaker. You want to really create an income around it? Come speak to me. And with all of that, the information with different models. Some people will go to one event, they'll take a fractional piece of it, and they'll go, oh, this will work, and then they'll go off and look to apply it. But they'll apply it because they'll see 12 different events with 12 different models, and they'll apply a piece from each. Well, when you mix all models together, they don't work. It's kind of like mixing, you have 3 different recipes for a cake, and just take one line item from each of the recipes and make your cake. It may not come out the same as you anticipate.
May not. I like that. May not. Yeah.
So really understanding those nuances, and so much of what we talk about in our live events, and really laying out, here's the structure, here's the system, here's the process to get you to the next level. And we've created umpteen 6- and 7-figure speakers out there in the process that really proud of what they've done and what we've been able to do with them in creating all that.
But
and
you've helped people create different businesses, right?
Well, yes. So I'm much more of a strategic coach. I've had a varied background, medical field and the dental field, as well as in real estate. And I was a mortgage broker and a realtor, as well as a real estate investor, and been a speaker, coach, trainer, and certified in neurolinguistic programming and hypnotherapy. And so I've done just a ton, multiple different distribution companies. So a ton of different activities, information marketer. And with all that, a vast amount of knowledge. And so I work with people in multiple industries. It doesn't matter the industry. What matters is your desire. You've got to really want and believe in what you're doing and what you want. With that belief, and you've got to believe 100% in both yourself and your product. And I help people in the psychological, the mindset piece, on how to grab hold of that massive belief.
I think
that you can take the next level.
That's a really good point. I think so many of us get to a place where you say, matter of fact, I just had somebody who he had been saying for 4 years, I want to be a speaker. I want to be a speaker. He took the lessons. He learned what he needed to do. Then he went outside. He went, boom, I'm going to go do that. And never reached back for a piece of advice, never reached back for information. And there's always more we can learn. And the other day, I called him up. I said, hey, we need to step forward and do this. He said, I decided I changed my mind. I don't want to be a speaker because I've already put all this effort in and it's not working. I quit. I'm not going to do this. And I went, we should talk, because I hadn't talked to him in almost a year, right? Why? Well, I wasn't his coach, first of all. He wasn't paying me anymore. So, but we were friends. And so that's what Paul's talking about. Where are you in that push where you've reached that place where you go, oh man, I'm tired of trying. I don't want to try anymore. It's just too frustrating.
I beg you.
Go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, I beg you, please reach out. Here's the thing. We all are born with potential. We're born with an inner core of ability. And my belief is that when we don't utilize that, when we don't tap into it, when we don't reach our fullest potential, it's a sin. Plain and simple. And so it's our duty to figure out, how do we reach our fullest potential? And most people, including myself, haven't done it yet. We're at different stages of that. Don't give up. The saddest thing is for me to see people that have stopped and have said, no, I couldn't do it. That this is about as much as I could ever be in my life. And nothing could be further from the truth. And it doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter what your educational background is, your social economic background. It doesn't even matter what you believe. your abilities are. We have been able to work with people that, man, they were lost. They didn't know what they could do. And we went through a process to help them figure out what they really wanted to do, how we could move them there, and help them within a few months create 5-figure and 6-figure incomes within a few months, and then drive them to wherever they want to go, help them get wherever they want. It's your life. It's not mine. I want to share with you. You could pick a spot. Where do you want to end up? I'll help show you the pathway to get there. And
I'm going to jump in. I'm going to jump in here, just so you know. I relate to that so well because my father, who's now been gone, Maverick, I just saw the anniversary thing pop up. He's been gone 4 years. He died at the age of like 94. Okay. And I wasn't an entrepreneur until I was in my 20 somethings. I watched my dad, and didn't know it at the time, absolutely lose his mind over what he wanted his dream to be. He was a welder at John Deere. Came back from World War II, settled in, did what he had to do. I don't know what he did, but when I was around, he was a welder at John Deere Company in Moline, Illinois. He quit John Deere several times to go pursue a different dream. Once was to be a butcher, one was to be a hairdresser, once was to be a chinchilla farmer. Wow. You watch the guy who absolutely had a dream. He had something he wanted, right? And how many people do you know who are frustrated? If you know people like that, send them this video when you've watched it. But it's people who say, I want more. I just don't know how to get there. Isn't that what it is, Paul?
Yeah. I work with two people, two types of people that the reason why they come forward. One is that they know they want more and they don't know how to get it. They don't know the process. They don't know what they need to do. They don't know where to go next. There's a second group of people that have figured out where they want to go. Have figured out what they want, and that they want more. They figured out what they want, and they even figured out some of the tools and systems to get there, only they haven't figured out how to do it consistently day in and day out, so that they create persistent, consistent behavior that creates the results that they want.
Well, now you run events. You run events so that people can come to. You run events so if my dad was alive today and he was, in the middle of his chinchilla farm that wasn't working, he could, look on the internet or someplace and find you and come and attend an event.
Absolutely. And I run 3-day events, and my events are I do multitude all across the country on a regular basis, and I keep them. I do a lot because I keep them small. I really like connect with people on more of a one-on-one basis or small group basis. And so all my events are about 50 people, maybe a little bit less even in certain cities, which enables us to have real conversations, to have real talk, to really get clear with who you are, what you want, and how to get it. And
how many people have ever had to answer that, first of all? Have you ever had, you sit down and you say, hey, what do I really want? And then you kind of go, never mind. How many times have you sat with somebody who says, go ahead, Paul.
Who says,
I want to help you find out what you really want, help you try and figure out how to get there and what you need to do, what you need to accomplish, the things you need to learn in order to achieve your dreams. How many people have ever helped you with that?
It's so interesting. Most people don't know how to answer those questions. And it's one of the first conversations we have as you walk in the door, is helping you really answer those questions. When the universe asks you, or an individual asks you, what do you want? The answer needs to be exactly what you want.
But I don't know.
See, the challenge is that most of us have learned never to answer that question.
Yeah.
Because either whatever you want, that's ridiculous.
I couldn't get it anyway.
Who do you think you are? Is part of it like, I want a mansion and a yacht. Yeah, BS. Who do you think you are? Right? And so we've learned, no. So I'll never say that. I just want enough to have a good life. Well, no one knows what that is for themselves.
Yeah.
They've never answered the specifics. And we really talk about the concept of what you put out there, you get back. And that happens across the board in so many dimensions. And one of which is when asked, what do you want? You either have a vague answer, in which case you're going to get vague results. What you put out there, you get back. Or you're going to have a specific answer and then get that.
But I had those specific answers, Paul, and I put it out there and I never get it. Why is that?
Is your life over?
Nope.
Yeah. Keep putting it out there. See, the challenge is that so much in our immediate gratification world, people believe that, oh, I had somebody ask me, so we were talking about mindset and being positive and positive energy. And it's been proven with all the studies. Everything I teach is proven and based on science. They went through and did tons of studies on optimism, smiling, having a positive viewpoint of life. And they've shown your synapses, the connections in your brain, you actually think 37% faster when you have a positive mindset and have a smile and believe that the future is bright. Oh my gosh. So I put a smile on my face. You're going to sell over 30% more when you have a smile on your face and a positive outlook. Oh my gosh. So you mean I could increase my bottom line just by smiling?
I'm not believing that.
And so all this has been studied, and I was teaching this, and one guy was like, well, all right, so I do these affirmations, I smile, I have a positive outlook, and I work on this every day. Well, how long do I need to do this? I went, how long do you want the results from it? See, people don't connect that. They think this is a thing that they do to get a specific result. It's a way of life.
Yeah.
And once you figure that out and you realize that, you create your universe by creating how you show up in it. And everything will follow. So it's not one thing. It's understanding how to approach as an entrepreneur, how to approach life, how to approach business to create the magnitude of abundance that you could have.
I got about 3 more. I got about 3 more minutes. I got about 3 more minutes. 3 more minutes, Paul. If you've got some information to share or something you got to put out there. Yay.
So you've absolutely go to MaverickOffer.com. And here's what I want to share with you. You're going to go to MaverickOffer.com, and there's going to be 2 things you're going to find. You're going to, one, get an opportunity to get on my schedule for a one-on-one appointment with me. This is completely free. And when you get on that appointment, it will be with me, A. And B is, this isn't a sell-a-thon. This isn't to get you there and to convert you into something. It is to really get a one-on-one conversation to see, what do you really need? I've got a lot of different pathways that you could join me with. We'll talk about that on what would make sense for you for your next step. This is about us having a real conversation. The second thing that you're going to get, I've got a training on time management. It is one of the key components and Achilles heels for most entrepreneurs. So I add that completely free, no strings attached. You can go and download all the information, utilize it. There's exercises in there you could send to me. But all of that is absolutely critical for your future success and really how to manage your life from start to finish. So both of those things completely free. Would love to talk to you, love to engage. Go to MaverickOffer.com, and there's some time-sensitive stuff in there as well. Absolutely grab hold, because we've got events coming up that I would love for you to be at, and I can share that information as well when we talk.
Well, you've got he does travel all around the country. You've got one coming up in Orlando next. I'm trying to think, next month.
We've got one coming up in Orlando, and it's and the dates we can put in the link, or if you want to share them now, it's up to you. I would say let's just put them in the link. Okay. The dates for the event. It's coming up, and so for a lot of you, you're in the Florida area. For others, you're all across the nation. I got to tell you, we cater from coast to coast. I've got clients all over the United States as well as beyond. And so absolutely, we have just as many people that fly in as come from local. and we'll be in Orlando next. Absolutely. Reach out. We'll be able to share the information with you about the events, as well as schedule the call and give you training. All of this is possible when you go to maverickoffer.com.
So they'll find your whole schedule at maverickoffer.com. So
Yes,
whether it's next month or 3 months from now, if you've got stuff scheduled,
they go to Maverick Offer. They're going to be able to set a calendar, go on my calendar to set an appointment with me. And over the next few days, right after that, they'll get an email that'll have our full calendar as to what's coming up over the year as well.
Oh, cool. So you follow up with them by sending them your calendar so they can attend anywhere. And I say anywhere in the United States, but we don't all cover all 50 states. It's more like 5 or 10 states. I don't know how many you cover.
Right.
But that way, much closer to you, easier to get to. Sometimes it's a short drive. Sometimes it's a long drive. Sometimes you fly in. I have people fly into my events, and you know what? We have a great time. We take them to dinner. We meet for dinner, and we go do the stuff that we want to do.
I actually take them for dinner.
Oh,
so we have on Saturday night, part of our boot camp, we actually give you food. We have a cash bar. We hang out for the night and get to know one another and relax. You know, Steve, I like to hang out with people and relax and get to know them, which is why I create all these opportunities to make that happen. So
yeah, my wife and I have met with Paul and his wife, and our families get along great, and we love each other. And that's one of the reasons he's on this, is because I know he does a great job. He helps so many people. The people who are with him stay with him, and that's important, that you understand that when somebody offers to help you and then they help you, you have a bond that can't go away. And that's what this is all about. So I hope you guys all jump all over this. Go to maverickoffer.com and let's get connected.
Yeah, with anybody that's a speaker, trainer, coach, especially, I've helped so many of them really create a livelihood and a lifestyle, and the branding and everything on really making it a real part of your future. Come and hang out. We can really get the job done.
If you really are looking to change your life, a lot of people say, I'm willing to change my life, or I want to change my life. And then they go, oh, you want me to drive 2 hours? No, that's too far. But if you're really wanting to make a difference in your life, maybe you don't want to completely change your life. Maybe you just want to have that mood when you wake up in the morning going, yeah, right. What is it they say? Instead of saying, good God, it's morning. Now you say, God, it's morning. Thank you very much. Right. And that's a difference. It's an attitude. It's a place to get to. And Paul, on just one of the workshops, can help you even change that attitude. So maybe it's your spouse that needs to go attend. Bring them.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, it's we've been able to create a great life, and we now share, and I travel all around the world to help people do the same, because you deserve it.
And let's ask the question. Do you think you deserve it? See, some people will say, I don't know if I deserve it or not. Well, attend one of the events with us. Come see. We would love to have you. We would love to help you. And we would love to find your dreams with you. And that's what Paul's all about. Paul, one last tidbit before I close this out.
Commit 100% to who you are and what you want. One of the saddest things is people go, I want to write a book. I want to be a speaker. I want to create that business. I want to have abundance. I want to travel. I want to support my parents or my children. And they'll say all these things. And then I ask them, from a level of 1 to 10, how committed are you to making this happen? Well, an 8, 9. And for most people, that sounds great. I will tell you, in studying this, learning this, and experiencing this firsthand, unless it's a 10, you must lower your goal or raise your commitment, because it's either a 10 or not, a 10 or bust.
Very good point. Very good point.
Commit.
And that's what you have here today, is you have to be willing to commit. Commit to your dreams. They're not our dreams, right? They're not somebody else's dreams. They're your dreams. And with that, I hope you've enjoyed this workshop or this podcast. And I really want to invite you to attend one of Paul's events coming up. So reach out to maverickoffer.com. Reach out to him. He will send you an email that says, this is where I'll be over the next few months.
Absolutely.
And make it a point to attend. You can become whatever you want, whatever you dream of. And I'm Steve Sapato. You can reach me at steve@stevesapato.com. And I look forward to sharing more with you. God bless.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Paul. Appreciate you very much.
Yeah.